And thank you, everybody, for joining another episode of Dan-A-Plooza here in January. We have been kicking off the new year. My guest at this time is the return guest, the lovely, Moniquee Dupree, the original Gata. Thank you for
Hello.
being here.
Thank you. I appreciate coming back.
So, for those watching and future watching, Moniquee Dupree is a lady of many varied talents, has wears many different hats. She is a cosplayer. She is an actress. Also, for on the wrestling side, she has been a producer, wrestling talent, and social media manager for Tommy's Dreamer, the House of Hardcore. And also, if you're looking to buy something at this time of year, you need to check out the Etsy store. That's the Thomas Kingdom Etsy store, available right now to purchase. I know Valentine's is coming up. You can purchase jewelry, stuff for your home. There's lamps, there's dishes, there's jewelry, there's artwork, oils, t-shirts, 8 by 10 photos. Now is the time to try and get something maybe for your loved one. I've ordered stuff. The shipping does not take too long, so make sure to go ahead and make your purchases today. Moniquee, thanks for being back on the show.
Thank you. And thank you for talking about our Etsy shop too. It's been our family projects baby that we've been cultivating. And we're now Etsy star sellers because, I take everything I do seriously, and I appreciate you purchasing from the store. I truly do. Thank you.
Yep. And if anybody's wanting to know what I purchased before, I purchased the 8 by 10 the pineapple earrings, which I gave to somebody, and the Candyman shirt. It's actually very soft, very stylish. And of course, if you're a fan of Candyman, that's a good shirt to have. So those are the things you should look for.
My big bro. I have all kinds of things. I have, horror related earrings.
Oh, yes.
That's Leatherface. I have a lot of horror oriented things, and my daughter paints. She's an artist, so she has a whole bunch of stuff there too. During the pandemic, well, the kind of the middle to tail end of the pandemic, um our home burned down, and we were just trying to think of ways to revive ourselves, so to speak, because we lost everything. And that was kind of how the inception of the Thomas Kingdom family shop came about, because I make stuff all the time anyway, and I couldn't do wrestling shows. I mean, for a while I was working with the Impact when we were just going to Nashville. We would go out like every 6 weeks or so, and I was doing that, but a lot of work just stopped for everybody, and I had to find something that I was able to do from home. So I started crafting jewelry, and it was a hobby, but it became a bigger thing. And then people would go, how about this? And how about this? And the next thing you know, I was making housewares, art, my daughter's painting. We're traveling all over the country now with this stuff as well as her stuff and my autographs and movies. And we just put it all together.
And that's what we call making a wonderful collection, wrapping it all up together.
Gotta wrap it up in a nice, pretty horror bow
Exactly,
and
exactly.
put it
Maybe little
out there.
chainsaws.
Yes, absolutely. There you go. So it's been a great experience. I do miss I missed wrestling, and I missed terribly doing convention appearances and stuff like that. So when we got the opportunity to be guests at these conventions, we jumped at the chance because I started doing my convention going in 2008. Is when
Okay.
I started doing conventions for Fangoria Weekend of Horrors. Those who are true convention goers,
Hmm.
I'm sure would remember that. That was through Creation Entertainment, and then I would do, I did Big Apple Comic Con, and I would do New York Comic Con, and it just evolved from there. And then I stopped doing them for a while, especially when I got into wrestling, and mostly did wrestling related conventions. But I am looking to book more conventions now. I have 4 booked for this year so far, and looking at contracts for 2 more. So this is one of the things that I want to do so that I can promote my new movie called The Beautiful Ones that will be coming out soon as well.
Definitely. Can you tell us what conventions you maybe have booked already if people are wanting to come and see you?
Well, some of them I can't say yet because
Okay.
the the ink is not dry on it. You have to give me a minute to remember all the names because I just literally talked to somebody today. Let me look on my phone because I
That's
forgot the
fine.
name already. It's horrible. Well, actually, I've been working on a list where we're trying to produce a graphic so that I can just list all of the conventions that I'll be at and provide the links for people to go to in order to get to that convention. I will tell you that I've been trying to make sure I get back into Colorado Festival of Horror because that convention, and they hold it September of every year. That convention was one of the most amazing conventions, and it's a they just started, a couple of years ago, but they have the ear makings of a great mainstay convention. Whether I attend that convention or not, that is just a one that you should go to for sure. They've become friends, and they just offer a comfortable family environment. So I would definitely say if you look up Colorado Festival of Horror, it's the mid-September of this year. Look it up. Whether I'm there or not, it's going to be a great show. And I don't promote conventions that often that I may not be at, but this one is one that's near and dear to my heart. So I want to make sure that people do attend that convention. But I do have a list, and I'm put off guard. Oh, I apologize. I'm gonna have to get that list and let you know hopefully before the end of the show.
Yeah. Or
I
you
don't
could
want to
just
say
say it
one
later
that
time. Yeah.
yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to say one of the ones that we haven't finalized things yet with, and then they're like, oh, she's announcing herself before we announced her. So I don't want to do those things.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
do know that I'll be at Fright Reads Festival. It's a book festival, and
Okay.
it's here in Maryland. And I that's the end of September to beginning of October as well. I will put these links up. That one I know the ink is dry on because we worked on that one already. Also Ocean City Comic Con. See, I'm remembering some of them now.
Yeah.
I will be at Ocean City Comic Con the end of this year. That is in December. I don't have the exact date, but if you look it up, you'll see it. Again, I have so many different things that I'm doing, you guys, so I apologize. But I
Yeah.
will be at those two for sure.
And we look forward to them. And anything like that, just let me know, and I'll post in the Dan-A-Plooza Facebook group page.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. Um, Now I know that with you being an actress, and I've read a little bit online about you being a scream queen. Um, what does that title mean to you?
Man, I've been asked this question for so many years. Um, First of all, I do want to say, I'm not sure how that translates now, but I noticed that the title Scream Queen over the years had developed quite a negative connotation, and I, for one, hold it near and dear to my heart. When
Mhm.
um when Debbie Rochon, who is a Scream Queen extraordinaire, herself, referred to me as first Black Scream Queen, that's something that I held on to dearly and that I'm extremely proud of. Some people don't want to get pigeonholed into one genre, and although
Right.
I love all the film genres, horror is something that's near and dear to my heart. As is comedy, which I don't get to talk about that much, but that's kind of how I started my love for wanting to be in films was through comedy. But being a scream queen means everything to me. And if the only movies I ever did for the rest of my life were horror, I could live with that. I'm completely fine with that as long as I can bounce around different characters in the genre, as opposed to, I mean, I don't mind being typecast, but I want to show people that I do have talent, that I do have acting ability. And it's harder to do that if you're just doing one type of character. So I would
Hmm.
love to show my chops, like with this movie that's coming out this year called The Beautiful Ones. That is a horror movie as well, and the title takes itself from a Prince song, The Beautiful Ones. In that movie I got to play kind of like a what if Harley Quinn was black type
Hmm.
of character. So I got the opportunity to do my own take on playing a badass, and she's also a therapist. And Harley, very very Harley oriented, but I got to put my own little stank on it. So I really hope that people see that and go, this girl really can act. So I'm very proud of that movie, and I can't wait for it to come out and for everybody to see it.
Definitely. I'm very intrigued. So uh, please let me know when it comes available and how I can watch it and purchase it. I'm very intrigued.
Absolutely. We're trying to get it into some festivals and whatnot. And I think it would be a cool idea if some of the conventions that I'm doing, if it can be shown at those conventions, and have that audience, just see that way they'll be able to see something at a convention that I'm attending while I'm there and go, okay, I see her work. Because a lot of people, I'm one of those actors, in the realm, in the sea of the famous actors, you have
Mhm.
what they call like the second and third stringers, those people that you might see their face and go, I know that person, but you can't remember their name or
Mhm.
anything like that. That doesn't mean that they're not talented. It just means that's kind of what happens. I am that person in the realm of independent horror because I've done over 100 films. But people will contact me and go, I didn't know you were in this film. I saw you in there, for a few minutes guest starring, you know and I couldn't remember your name until I saw a post or somebody said something about who you were. So I've become that person, which is fine by me as well. I just want to be able to continue to work. That's what's important to me, to be able to work doing something that I love. And I truly love this business.
I really admire your passion for it. So I definitely I feel like the sky's the limit for you once people really see how what you can really bring to the table and what you've done before. So I'm
I really, truly hope that, I mean, I always say to myself, because I do affirmations and things of that nature, I like to see the glass, half full. Even with my home burning down, I said, well, I'm really sad about it because we lost everything, but maybe there was a path being cleared for bigger and better things. So I can't sulk about it and be depressed about it. I have to, pick up and move forward and have that forward momentum going. So I see that, in my career as well, because somebody will go, well, what movies have you done? And I said, well, you can go to YouTube and put my name in there and you'll see internet shows that I've done. You'll see excerpts from movies I've done. There's even some full movies. There's some of my wrestling work there, which is another business that I didn't even know that I loved that side of until Tommy Dreamer brought me into this world of professional wrestling. I was a fan, but to be a fan is totally different from working in the business. You get a whole new view on
mhm.
things. But that being said, I'm still a huge fan of professional wrestling. I try to be the fan on the other side, and then when I have to work it, I'm still a fan, but I want to be as great as possible. You know what I'm saying? It means a lot to me because wrestling is something that's always meant a lot to me growing up. It really kept me grounded and really actually saved my life. So I that's another business that I love. There's
I mean,
nothing crazier than that of professional wrestling. We are one big dysfunctional family.
yeah. And that's and I just enjoyed your story there because I've had wrestling ever since I was a child and growing up with that, and that's something that I've always enjoyed. Um, from playing the games with my friends growing up to the ice cream bars to just all the other different things and
The ice cream bars, yes, Lord. A lot of people don't remember that, especially not my children. But my family became a wrestling family because I have 10 children. Well, I have 10 biological children. I have a lot more, especially counting those that I've raised. But I don't tell this story that often, and it's actually very short. One of the what really truly solidified my love of professional wrestling was actually me having to record uh shows for my mother on
oh,
television via VHS tape. So
oh yeah.
anybody that remembers VHS, you can't just press a button. You had to kind of feel when the commercials were coming, like you could tell
Hmm.
when they're winding down for a commercial. And
Hmm.
my job for my mother, I had to press it when the commercial was about to come on, and I had to instinctually kind of know when to press it when it was coming back from commercial, because she wanted to watch wrestling with no commercials in it.
Oh
So
wow.
my job was to watch and to remove those. And I had a tumultuous relationship with my mother, but I feel like that is one of the main, the big gift that she gave me was the gift of professional wrestling, because I had to watch it in order to take the commercials out. Otherwise, I would never have paid attention to it. And then I started becoming invested because I was living in a world where I wasn't happy as a child when I started staying with her. And uh, it took me to another world that made me so happy that it made being where I was bearable. And so when I moved back with my grandmother again, I took that passion and that love with me and cultivated it. And we were very poor, so I never got to go to a wrestling show ever until I went to a TNA show live, like a house show with my daughter in my early adulthood. That was my first ever show. I never got to go to any wrestling shows as a kid because we were just, that poor that I couldn't afford to go. But I've more than made up for it, I feel.
Yeah. I think I think again it's interesting because like you said yours was the first TNA show that you saw live and in person.
Yep.
That's for me as well. My first wrestling show was a TNA show that I saw a couple years ago. That was in Morgantown, West Virginia, maybe about 40 minutes from here, and it was in February. And after the event, it was literally snowing. Like after the event, snow was hitting the ground as
Wow.
I left that convention or that it
That
was actually at a hotel. It was actually at a hotel, and they used one of the banquet rooms and made it
and
into
to
a
yeah,
whole wrestling.
well, it was a house show, right?
Yes, yes, it was a
Okay,
house
well,
show.
yeah, that makes perfect sense. Um, which I mean, that brings me to, because I cried when Don West passed away.
Oh yeah.
I knew that he was sick, but uh,
Hmm.
he meant so much to me and my family because my first TNA show, the house show, that's when we met him, and I don't know, there was some kind of spark um between me and my daughter and him, and we just started chatting with him, and we didn't know like who he was exactly. I didn't. My daughter knows everything, but we just started talking, and he, that show, he invited us back to another show. He's like, well, why don't you come back? And I was like, well, I live in a world of broke. I have children. And he was like, well, just come back. We'll work something out or whatever. And we came back, and he made us his guests. And we just started going to the shows. I mean, we just started traveling and going to the shows, and then he introduced us to everybody. That's how we met Abyss, and got to sit and hang out and talk to him. And we became known as the resident troublemakers, because we always came in kind of matching esque outfits, and boobs run in our family. So it was it was just one of those things. But it was just, I don't know, it was great. And he made the experience amazing, and started saying, well, why don't you bring your son, and why don't because we would
Oh
buy
yeah.
2 tickets, and he was like, well, bring your son, he can come. And it was just, he was one of the most amazing human beings, and was so great to us uh in this business. And I would not have gotten to the point where I felt like I met Tommy Dreamer, uh you know and everything that happened there. I think that it all started with Don West. That's my
Yeah.
personal feeling, and I miss him every day.
Yeah, he was a really great guy. I only saw him once live in person, but I always enjoyed him behind the announce table with Mike Tenay. So
Yes, yeah.
um,
Absolutely. I enjoyed watching him work when he was doing all his Don West deals. And
yeah.
because the way he would talk an audience into everything.
Mhm.
He would start and nobody wanted to buy anything, but by the end of it, everybody was buying stuff, because he just had a way with connecting with people. And then it got to the point where sometimes I was like, well, if you need my help, if you need me to take pictures or do X, Y, and Z, you know. And then the last time I saw him was actually when I went to Vegas with AEW, and I had a
Mhm.
press pass because I was doing press stuff. And he was like, I see you made it to the other side, Miss Dupree. I said, yes, I have. And he was like, well, welcome. And I love you and I miss you. And we hugged and embraced, and we took a picture. And that was actually the last time I saw him, even though I would talk to him every now and again. So yeah, I do miss that man.
Yes, and our thoughts are and prayers are with his family. Um,
Absolutely.
I did. I only met him one time. It was at a baseball wrestling show. It was outside.
Yep.
We were out there, and originally I was like, "Well, I'm not going to buy anything," and then I had like maybe two or three brown bags, like on the
Yep.
side.
That is him. That is him. That is absolutely him. Man,
And people
I'm
were
I'm
like,
glad we
"I
got to
thought
talk
you
about
weren't
that.
gonna buy anything, Dan." I go, I got." He, I talked to him, and that's how it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people have those stories. Like I said, he was a great guy.
Definitely. Uh, so you recently went back to Impact, I believe, last year. How was that experience like?
Well, it was really, really cool. I mean, before, or well, actually during the pandemic, I got to do a few behind the scenes things, like because with Dreamer, I was working in front of the camera and behind the camera and on social media and everything else. And that was actually how I got to do, like, I would do small spots with, well, I don't like to say small, because a spot is a spot. And I've
Hmm.
always been grateful for any time I got to do anything with Impact. But it was usually like just being at the right place at the right time. I would be there with Dreamer already, and it's like, what do you have in your bag? You want to do this? And I actually love those moments. I love being able to do those things. And when I work behind the scenes, I love that even more. Actually, I was doing some backstage spots before and after. and that was really, really cool. I enjoyed that as well. I just love being around wrestling and working with Tommy for as long as I got a chance to work with him, and learning everything that I learned when House of Hardcore went down with COVID. I just missed that hustle and bustle of doing everything, wearing many hats. And he took that chance on me, and it's just something that I miss, and I hope that I get to do for any other company that would want to have me doing that. I was actually looking at stuff in the Maryland area to maybe do some social media and help production of some shows, since I'm, so close. Even if I got a chance, the opportunity to do something in New York, to use my social media presence to do things, as well as helping the shows run smoothly with the talent and so on and so forth. It's something that I thrive at, and that I've found that I'm good at, and I want to be able to do more of those things.
Yeah, and I think people will reach out to you, and that's what my hopes are, is that you get a chance to go back and fulfill more of that role, because I could see how much it means to you. So
It does mean a lot. And I had an exclusive contract with House of Hardcore, but that went down with, House of Hardcore. So I think that a lot of people, because, I people reached out to me during the time that I was doing House of Hardcore, and I was like, I'm exclusive to House of Hardcore because I was doing so much with them, and it wasn't just valeting and managing and so on and so forth. It was all the behind the scenes stuff that people didn't know. I was the one putting together the ticket sales to put out online. I was doing the door. I was, one time I did security. I was running Twitch when we had Twitch, and moderating that, and doing some post show Twitch chatter and whatnot. So I did so much with that company, and I want to take that zest and that knowledge and bring it to another independent company, and work in that capacity. Even if I'm never in front of the camera again, which I do want to do, but if I had to choose between the two, I'm so good with working behind the scenes in wrestling.
that's good, because it makes you kind of like more value, because being in front of the camera and behind, like I think more people will want that. They kind of like when someone has all those things to offer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also not afraid to talk to people. If people really knew how many jobs I had working House of Hardcore, they would go, "Oh my God, how did you do all of that?" I mean, the mainstays that used to come to the shows all the time, especially the old ECW arena, they used to go, "God, girl, just sit down for 1 second and relax." And I was like, I can do that when the show is almost over. I can go over there and have a drink or something. But even then, I would have to run back and make sure that everything is going smoothly after the show. Uh, until the last person left. I would have to be the last person with Dreamer to actually leave the venue, but I'd be running up, climbing that ladder where the hard cam was. I mean, the hard cam is no longer there now, but where it used to be, you had to climb a ladder to get up to the hard
Oh
cam.
wow.
So I'd be running up there to take, crowd pictures and
Hmm.
ring pictures to post on social media right away. And I'd have to run and figure out what my spot was going to be and how much time I had to make sure talent was good. And I just did, um Dreamer called me, like he said, I'm trying to get you to be a mini Tommy Dreamer. So, you have to learn how to do the stuff I do, except for putting the matches together. I never did any of that. He's a
Yeah.
genius with that. That's all him.
Yeah.
What he does, that's in his brain. But, I did most everything else. And I
Oh wow.
really miss that. And I really feel like I can be an asset to somebody's company with all of the stuff that I learned from Dreamer.
Definitely. Uh, is there anything else you would like to say or promote as we wrap things up on Dan-A-Plooza?
Just to follow my social media. My old Instagram, even though it's still there, somebody hacked it. So unless you know how to help me get my verified Instagram back, you can follow me on Moniquee Dupree, which is my new Instagram. And hopefully I can get my old one back. And if you look up the original Gata, you'll find out all my other social media. So just follow me for updates.
Alrighty then. Well, make sure to follow Moniquee Dupree, the original Gata, on her social medias. Make sure to follow her Etsy store. I want to thank her for being a guest on Dan-A-Plooza right now. Everyone, stay tuned. Dan-A-Plooza will be back Thursday, February 2nd, with a Glow Wrestlers and Today's Wrestlers panel. You don't want to miss that. So, everyone, stay tuned and have a good night.
Bye.